I was currently in a relationship when I met him originally.
When you moved in with him?
Right.
So why would you do that?
Because he was my escape plan. He was my dummy, basically.
Just to get her to move, because she lied to me and told me she was threatening me with the police.
When he gets tired of my baby, he won't drop him off at a fight station. You just heard him. This baby has been on Earth for 5 months. This is not funny.
Because at the end of the day, I got a man that came in my life at 10 years old and brought me to my daddy. My stepdaddy brought me to him. You hear me? They sat at the same table. My stepdaddy had to take me to my father because I was treating him like crap.
The case of Nelson versus Sterling and Haynes is officially announced in court. The presiding judge, Jerome, introduces the case and the parties involved. Brace yourself. The drama ramps up from here.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Nelson versus Sterling and Haynes.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Grab your popcorn. This next bit is a doozy. Miss Nelson describes her confusing family situation, revealing that she grew up believing one man was her father, while another man was listed on her birth certificate. She then discusses how a third man, the defendant, contacted her claiming to be her father. You won't believe the curveballs coming next.
You say you grew up believing one man was your father, yet had another man listed on your birth certificate. Then, after you turned 30 years old, a third man, the defendant, suddenly contacted you on Facebook claiming he was your father.
Guess what the judge pulls out next? The judge requests to see Miss Nelson's birth certificate, which lists Vincent Preston Nelson as her father, a name she does not recognize as the man she believed to be her father. Hang tight, the plot thickens even more.
Do you have a copy of your birth certificate with you?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Father's name listed, Vincent Preston Nelson. And that's not the name of the gentleman you visited in prison.
I was hurt because I never knew who he was. I just knew that this man was my dad, and I felt like my mom should have.
This message really flips the script. Miss Nelson recounts receiving a Facebook message from a man named Christopher Lancaster, who claims to be her father and expresses his regret for not being part of her life. The contact information he provided was outdated, adding to the confusion. Next up, things get even twistier.
From a man named Christopher Lancaster. I'm your dad. He was sorry for not being in my life. He now wants to be in my life. And he left 2 numbers. I contacted both those numbers. Both the numbers were disconnected because it was 4 months prior.
Here's where things start to get juicy. A revelation occurs when Mr. Sterling admits to being the person behind the Facebook message, explaining he used the name Christopher Lancaster to avoid problems with other people in his life. Watch as the truth slowly unravels.
Put that message on Facebook. I had problems with other people in my life, so I didn't want to use my real. I made up a Facebook page of Christopher Lancaster. I always was looking for my daughter.
This revelation is a real tearjerker. An emotional twist unfolds as Mr. Sterling, also known as Christopher Sterling, and Vincent Preston Nelson, claims he was present at Miss Nelson's birth and asserts he is her biological father. Keep the tissues handy. It's about to get even more heartfelt.
You hadn't heard of Christopher Sterling or Christopher Lancaster?
No, Your Honor. The only person I knew of was Vincent Nelson.
You're saying that this was a pretty deep relationship you had with her mother?
Yes, ma'am.
High school sweethearts and...
Yes, ma'am.
Feel every bit of Miss Nelson's emotional turmoil here. Miss Nelson expresses her feelings of betrayal and confusion, having grown up with conflicting stories about her father's identity and her longing for a true paternal connection. Don't go anywhere. The emotional climax is just around the corner.
I got on punishment for everything, and I'm the guy. I was on punishment for 2 weeks.
You should have been!
We were so much in love. I used to tie a note, because we stayed on the 5th floor. It's the project, so we stayed on the 5th floor. I used to hand a note down on a string and then give it to her. She'd tie her note up, and I pulled the note up. I was on punishment for 2 weeks.
Time for some major revelations. The judge suggests speaking with Miss Nelson's mother to clarify the family history and the identities involved, adding another layer of drama to the unfolding case. The next revelation is a total game changer, folks.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you for joining us today. Ms. Haynes, you are Ms. Nelson's mother.
Yes.
You admit you had a relationship with this gentleman, Christopher Sterling.
Yes.
But do you know him as Christopher Sterling?
I know him as Christopher Sterling because I was there.
Buckle up for the big reveal. The emotional climax of the episode is reached as the DNA test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Sterling, you are her father.
Can you believe this kickoff? The case is introduced as Andrews v. Corbett, involving Mr. Andrews and Ms. Corbett, with allegations of paternity fraud. Mr. Andrews accuses Ms. Corbett of forging his signature on their son Quinn Andrews Jr.'s birth certificate, believing he is not the biological father. Buckle up, because we're just getting started.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Andrews versus Corbett.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Andrews, you and your mother are in court today suing your ex, Ms. Corbett, for paternity fraud because you claim she your signature on the birth certificate of her 5-month-old son, Quinn Andrews Jr., who you believe is not your biological son.
Strap in for this roller coaster. Ms. Corbett refutes Mr. Andrews' claims, suggesting his doubts stem from his unwillingness to be a responsible adult influenced by his mother. The judge listens as both parties present their initial statements about the forged signature and their perspectives on the relationship and responsibilities. Just when you think it couldn't get more heated, it does.
Let me see that birth certificate. So you say somehow your name just appeared on the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
Quinn Andrews Sr., name of father, right underneath. But you didn't sign it.
No, ma'am.
Take me back to that day. You believe somebody put your name on there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
Day of the birth, I cut the umbilical cord. I requested a blood test. I stayed at the hospital for like 24 hours. And the following day, I ended up leaving to retrieve a car seat. I didn't sign nothing.
You claim somebody put your name on the birth certificate.
Yeah, obviously.
Did that really just happen? Mr. Andrews describes the day of the birth, claiming he did not sign the birth certificate despite being at the hospital and cutting the umbilical cord. He requested a blood test, but left the hospital temporarily, during which time he believes his name was unlawfully added to the birth certificate. Hold tight, because there's more drama ahead.
I mean, anybody that has kids, and she should know because she has enough, knows that in order for the birth
and all 8 of them is well
certificate,
taken care of, baby. I told my son not to sign a birth certificate until he get the blood test to prove that that is his
and that's
child.
why he's lying and say he didn't sign it because she told him not to sign it.
That's a
and
lie.
he didn't even want a blood test until she put her.
Did you witness him sign it?
I was there.
The plot thickens even more. Witnesses are brought into question. Ms. Corbett asserts that both a witness and she saw Mr. Andrews sign the document, contradicting his claims. The discussion becomes heated as family members interject with accusations and personal attacks. And guess what? It spirals even more out of control next.
So what you're saying is he didn't do what his mother told him to do, so now he's saying he didn't sign it.
If he signed the birth certificate, his name would actually be signed on that form.
So you're saying there is no cursive signature. It's only name.
Name.
What was the nature of this relationship? Take me back.
We were in a relationship, but I could never say it was actually a committed one because every time we hit a bumpy road in our relationship or we get into an argument about anything, it could be simple. Quinn is out the door, right back to his mama.
You'll want to sit down for this. Mr. Andrews presents a diagram to the court describing the layout of their apartment and surrounding area to explain an alleged incident involving another man at their residence. This part of the testimony aims to support his doubts about the child's paternity. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, it does.
Your Honor,
What does this diagram show?
this right here is a 2-story apartment building. This right here, like, is the driveway. Like, 2 feet from the driveway is like the front entrance. And it's the same in the back. And right here is a slab and like an empty field. There's no gate around this side of the house, but on this side of the building, it's a gate. My cousin mama stayed right across the street, and you could sit right here and like literally watch all this. And if somebody murdered him over here, it'd be real obvious.
Things are about to get real. Judge Lake focuses the court on the child's well-being, urging the parents to prioritize their son's needs over their disputes. The emphasis shifts to the impact of their actions and disputes on the child's upbringing and future. The edge of your seat is where you'll be for the next part.
Is lying through the skin of his teeth.
What I gotta lie for?
Because this is my first time hearing this.
So you've outlined 4 pieces of doubt as to whether or not Quinn is your biological child. So you are saying that these allegations are not true.
They are
you
not
did
true.
not sleep
The
with
only
these
reason
men.
why he is saying that is because he is standing on side of her. And the other time, whenever I talk
Liar.
to Quinn, I don't hear none of this.
You-
All this what he telling you about, this happened a whole year or something ago. This was way before my baby was born.
Grab your popcorn. Mr. Andrews discusses his sporadic interactions with the child, highlighting the strained and minimal relationship he has with his son, further complicated by the ongoing conflict with Ms. Corbett. Wait until you see what's coming up next. It's a doozy.
So you spent quality time
That's
with
my-
him.
He does not. I have to beg him for to come
He been
get
at my
my
mother's
child.
house like 7 times.
He was there 6. I said, Quinn, you have to come meet me somewhere. I can't drive all the way down there. He was gonna drop my child off at a fire station.
Your Honor, I told her that. I specifically told her that just to get her to move because she lied to me and told me she was threatening me with the police.
When he get tired of my baby, he won't drop him off at a fire station. You just heard him.
This baby has been on Earth for 5 months. This is not funny.
Are you ready for the big reveal? The climax of the episode as the DNA test results are revealed.
It has been determined by court. Mr. Andrew, you are the father.
Let it be known
Get ready for a doozy of a court battle. The case of Wooten Jr. versus Backus is introduced in court. Jerome assists by announcing the parties involved. This case involves a dispute over the paternity of Alandria Backus and substantial back child support. Buckle up, because the drama is just starting to unfold.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Wooten Jr. versus Backus.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Smith, you and your father, Mr. Wooten, are suing to prove Ms. Backus is not his biological daughter. You say your dad owes more than $92,000 in back child support for a child who isn't his.
Here's where the plot thickens right from the get-go. Miss Smith and her father, Mr. Wooten, claim that Miss Backus is not Mr. Wooten's biological daughter, despite him owing over $92,000 in back child support. Miss Backus, on the other hand, insists Mr. Wooten is her father and expects an apology from the family once proven right. You won't believe how the tension ramps up next.
Because his income is being garnished by 50% each month to pay off that debt.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Backus, you say that Mr. Wooten is your father, and when the results prove you right, you demand Ms. Smith and the rest of your father's family apologize for treating you so poorly. How do you think Ms. Backus has ruined your father's life?
Grab your tissues for this heart-wrencher. Miss Backus describes a traumatic experience of being drawn blood from when she was a child during the paternity testing process. She expresses her ongoing love for her father and anticipates vindication through the current proceedings. The audience reacts supportively with applause. Stay tuned, the emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
If that's the case, then he should have showed up. And when they took blood from me just to have the test, he should have showed up for the test and we wouldn't be here today.
And they drew blood?
Yes, ma'am. I was a young girl when my mama finally decided to have child support papers on him. She made me go to the doctor. First of all, I remember being young and scared, and I started crying for my dad.
Talk about a tangled web. Mr. Wooten clarifies his short relationship duration with Miss Backus's mother, contradicting claims of a longer partnership. He expresses doubt about the paternity after learning of his ex-partner's subsequent pregnancy. The discussion reveals inconsistencies and communication issues between him and Miss Backus's mother. Just when you think you've seen it all, the next twist comes in hot.
2 months after we been together, she said she was pregnant. 4 months after we was together, we broke up.
Well, Daddy, you and Mama got two different stories, and I'm coming to find out the truth.
That's
Miss
right,
Daniels is a liar.
Once she was 4 months pregnant with her, I realized that most of the things that she was only interested in was me helping her financially.
When Miss Backus's mom said, "I'm pregnant," did you think it was your child?
I didn't question it, that it wasn't at the time.
So when did you start doubting?
My mama said I was a planned
She
child.
became pregnant again years later. She wanted to get back together. When I got back together with her, had she been seeing anybody else before we got together? And she said no.
Things just got a notch weirder with this bombshell. Miss Backus presents her birth certificate, where her mother had handwritten Mr. Wooten's name. She explains her mother's certainty about the paternity, which led to this action. The court reviews the evidence with interest, focusing on the authenticity and implications of the handwritten entry. Brace yourself as the family saga takes another wild turn.
She wrote it in because she know who her baby daddy is. That's one thing my mama
let me
do
see
know.
this evidence. This is your birth certificate?
That was my birth certificate. But when I filed for my new one, it came up blank on his name. That means she wrote it in. Yeah, my mama probably, look crazy for making a crazy move, but she know who her father is.
How many
So
lies
it is
did
your
mother tell?
contention that because your mother was so certain who your father
wrote
was,
it in. She wrote it in.
his
It's like a soap opera in here. Miss Smith recounts how other non-biological children were also excluded from their family, similar to Miss Backus. The family dynamics reveal a pattern of inclusion, followed by exclusion based on biological ties, stirring emotions in the courtroom. The next chapter in this family feud is about to unfold, and it's a doozy.
Ended up being excluded because they were not family. They were treated as family while they were there.
You want to sweep me underneath the rug so bad, but you're not gonna do it, baby. You let me get old now, and I can talk up for myself. And I'm tired of you lying. I don't care. When I care about you, I'm supposed to care about you now. Please, I'm getting ordered today. That's why I brought you here.
One at a time.
You'll need popcorn for this showdown. Miss Backus passionately argues her case, emphasizing her familial bond and asserting her identity as a Wooten, despite the family's denial. She shares her experiences and the support from her stepfather, which helped maintain her connection with Mr. Wooten. The climax is near, and it's going to be a showstopper.
I'm gonna tell you where I was. Now look back at me. I'm gonna tell you where I was. My mama was protecting me, and me and you both know why.
Protecting you from your own father?
Protecting me from your rumors, from all your rumors. Okay. And then you sitting up here not claiming me. I really ain't got no time for you. Because at the end of the day, I got a man that came in my life at 10 years old and brought me to my daddy. My stepdaddy brought me to him. You hear me? They sat at the same table. My stepdaddy had to take me to my father because I was treating him like crap.
Here comes the grand finale. The DNA test results reveal that
Mr. Wooten Jr., you are not her father.
So now I know why I got treated like I am, and I'm good. I wanna apologize to the Wooten Pryor Clayton family for my mom's BS. TC, I came here with the confidence of knowing he was my father and knowing you was my son. So now that I know the truth, I'm sorry. Mama, you gotta pay that back.
She'll always be the daughter to me.
Buckle up, folks. The court session kicks off with a lively start as the judge cordially invites everyone to take a seat and proceeds to roll call the parties for the drama-filled case of Moore versus Scott. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for the fireworks.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Moore versus Scott.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Can you feel the tension? Mr. Moore steps up with a heavy claim, asserting his belief that he is the biological father of 4-year-old Allie Luna, and accuses Ms. Scott of playing emotional games while letting another man raise his child. The plot thickens, and you won't believe what's coming next.
You came to court today to prove you are the biological father of 4-year-old Aliana. You and your current girlfriend claim the defendant has played on your emotions for 4 years and has allowed another man to raise your little girl. You are desperate to put the defendant's doubt to rest so you can finally be in your daughter's life.
Things are getting spicy. Ms. Scott stands her ground, firmly stating that Mr. Moore is not the biological father of her daughter and adamantly wishes for him to back off after the DNA test supports her claim. Hang on, because the courtroom is just heating up.
You say you are positive Mr. Moore is not your daughter's biological father. Once the test proves you right, you want Mr. Moore to leave you and your child alone. Mr. Moore, you say you've always believed Allie is your daughter. Tell me why.
Yes, Your Honor. I've never seen my child a day in my life.
You've never seen her?
A day in my life.
But you're convinced she's your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why hasn't he seen her? If he feels that way, why hasn't he tried to see her?
Did that just happen? Despite never having laid eyes on Allie Luna, Mr. Moore is adamant that she is his daughter, based on his previous involvement with Ms. Ka Scott. This revelation stirs a wave of shock through the audience and prompts further probing from Judge Lake. Wait till you see what happens next.
So now, what was the nature of your relationship?
We met on a dating site. He was kind of like an escape plan for something that I was going through. So
An
I wanted
escape
to,
plan?
Yeah.
Escape plan?
So I
was more
wanted
than
to
an
get away.
escape plan.
I wanted to get away from
boyfriend.
that. I wanted to get away from that. So, you know, I kind of led him on. I wasn't trying to pursue nothing, you know, be no family or anything with this man. We met together. He asked me to move in with him. I moved in with him. We maybe stayed together maybe a month.
And when was this?
That was in July of 2013.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Ms. Scott recounts how she met Mr. Moore on a dating site, using him as an escape plan from another predicament, highlighting that their relationship was never meant to be serious. The story takes an intriguing turn, so keep watching.
When you did have sex, Miss Scott, did you use protection?
No, it wasn't protected.
So you moved in for a month. Were you faithful during that month, or you all were only seeing one another?
I was currently in a relationship when I met him originally.
When you moved in with him?
Right.
So why would you do that?
Because he was my escape plan. He was my dummy, basically.
You're not ready for this twist. During a routine health checkup, Ms. Scott finds out she's pregnant, and while she initially informs the presumed father, a call to Mr. Moore around the same time leads to a whirlwind of confusion and conflicting claims. The drama escalates. Don't miss out.
You know, I told my daughter's father that we were going to have a baby. I never, Mr. Moore, that we were going to have a baby together. I never told him that.
Your Honor, she called me and told me she was pregnant. Yes, Your Honor.
Never.
And how far along was she when she called to tell you?
She was a couple of weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks, she said.
3 to 4 weeks. And your response was?
I might be the possible father because I was having sex with her unprotected multiple times.
Here's where it gets really juicy. The court dives into the timeline of Ms. Scott's relationship with Mr. Moore, scrutinizing when they were together and the possible conception period, calculated by Judge Lake with a conception calculator. Just wait, there's more revelation just around the corner.
We moved in together in August. We had sex together in August.
After you moved in with?
Right. We didn't have sex when we first met each other.
And he was saying, okay, and this is where the testimony differs significantly, because you say you had sex with her the first day you met her.
Which he's wrong. He's wrong. Didn't have sex the first day we met. We had sex after we had moved in together.
Gotcha. So you're saying you were already pregnant from the other guy when you moved in with Mr. Moore?
I was.
Just when you think it couldn't get any more heated, the air thickens with tension as allegations fly over past social media interactions that hint at Mr. Moore being recognized as a potential father by Ms. Scott, which she fervently denies. Buckle up because there's a major bomb about to drop.
And was like, we need to get a DNA test done.
Really?
Like, she did that.
Never did that. I never did that.
And photos of your son and Miss Scott's daughter was submitted to the court. And on the right side is Aliana.
They don't look alike. His baby looks like like him. My daughter looks like me, and she resembles.
She looks like me. She got the same pointy ears just like I do.
20 years. A lot of people have pointy ears. Her dad has pointy ears.
Grab your popcorn. This is the big reveal. The long-awaited DNA test results are finally disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Moore, you are the father.